once again, Jürgen Liedl, President, Engineering and Maintenance Europe, talking about Stork.
Finally. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jürgen Liedl. As Bettina said, I'm president of the segment Engineering and Maintenance Europe, or E&M Europe. On April 1st, we have successfully closed the acquisition of Stork in Europe, so Belgium, Netherlands, Germany. And I would like to talk now about why this is such a perfect fit in our strategy, what kind of opportunities that provides us now for sustainable, profitable growth, and how are we going to make that happen. I'll start with the first. Why is it such a perfect fit? Let's look at our M&A strategy. As Thomas said, we are looking at, and Matti said, we're looking at quite a lot of potential targets right now, but we have a very strict set of criteria that we are applying. So how does an ideal M&A target look like for us? First of all, it shall add an increase to total shareholder return. Second, it shall be a benefit of our portfolio. So we're looking for companies who are doing things that we are familiar with in a market where we are competent and successful, but providing services that we are not doing in that market yet. And that, of course, then leads to attractive top line and bottom line contribution. That is also a criteria for us. And especially, I think, in Europe, access to skilled labor is something that is a key requisite and also a competitive advantage. So that's also very high on our KPI list. And last but not least, an efficient integration. We want to integrate companies as efficient and as quick as possible when we acquire them. Now, when you look at the Stork acquisition, that ticks all of those boxes. The acquisition will be accretive, or is accretive, not will be because it already happened, it is accretive from day one of. We have a very complementary portfolio in the Netherlands and Belgium, and I will talk more about that later. And also in Germany, what Stork is doing in Germany adds value to what we are already doing there. We have now an additional yearly volume of 530 million euro, starting from Q1, with a current EBITDA margin of 2.5%. But as we are so familiar with the business, we have plans in hand and we are confident that we will raise that margin to our targeted level. Also more of that to come in 2 or 3 minutes. What I really like about is the access to the skilled labor. We have now more than 2,700 highly qualified employees being part of the Bilfinger team. And to add even more of that, in they have some competences that we have not had yet. As an example, electrical and instrumentation. The whole industry is moving from coal and gas to electricity. And if you want people to drive with electrical cars, there needs to be an infrastructure. So electricians are one of the most sought resources that we currently see in Europe. And a big share of those 2,700 people provide and have exactly that know-how. Perfect. And last but not least, the efficient integration. So Stork has been a peer for us in Belgium and Netherlands, but we know them well. We even have been working on the same sites or at same contracts with them. They think and act very similar to us. They have the same kind of culture, so we are very familiar. And when you know a company from the market, you can be confident at the beginning if the two companies fit together or not. And this is what we are seeing. So there is a good cultural fit to us, and that also just makes the integration easier. So that's why we signed the transaction on the 6th of September. We have done the closing for the Belgian, Dutch, and the German entities on April the 1st. And we will be finished with the full integration in Q1, quarter 1 of 2025. I want to spend a little bit more time on the complementary portfolio. What does that mean and how does it help us to position ourselves and to drive sustainable, profitable growth? Some of you who were with us in February 2024, they may remember the chart or the picture that you see on the left side of that. That is a core element of our strategy. You have, when you look into our industries, you have some companies who provide single trades. So those are the dots that you see on the left side. And they may be very good at that. So that's fine. But then you have some companies who have a broad range of services. And then you have some companies, and there it gets fewer and fewer, who are combining that. So who are combining this broad range of services, and they make solutions out of that. And these solutions are tailored to increase the efficiency and the sustainability of a plant. And this is where we are moving more and more at Bilfinger. And this is exactly that big fit, that strategic fit that Stork is delivering, that is offering. Look at, and of course, that increases the entries of barriers for our competition, because you need to build up all of those know-how and all of those solutions. It's not, it takes time, it doesn't come overnight. And that, of course, also drives our profitability. Now look at E&M engineering and maintenance in Belgium and Netherlands. Bilfinger has been already very good in engineering, so we are consistently ranked in that region amongst the top 3. We will get better, we will become the number 1, but we are already very good. We are definitely the number 1, and all of our clients say that in that region when it comes to insulation, scaffolding, and painting or corrosion protection. And we do a little bit of mechanical, but we could be better. Now, where does Stork come in? They add very fantastic technical consultancy know-how to our engineering department. So at the very early stage, defining asset management, defining maintenance services. Something that we have in other regions already, but we haven't had that to that extent, by far not, in Belgium and Netherlands. So that's a perfect fit. They are also very strong in mechanical, especially in the Netherlands. And they know electric instrumentation and control, which is something that we have in other regions, but we did not have nearly nothing of that already available in Belgium and Netherlands. So with that now, we cover the full service portfolio. We can cover all of our products that we want to offer, and we are doing this, and we can combine it to solutions. I'll have a few examples on specific cases then and contracts afterwards. But also then in Germany, the business that Stork is generating in Germany, it's about 50 million, 50 of those 530 million. They are specialized in mechanical and electrical equipment. So they upgrade, they modify, they maintain turbo machinery and generators. I just realized I always say they, but it's we. No, sorry. Still getting used to it. So we have that now in our portfolio as well. And it's also a very nice add-on to our existing framework contracts, or when we make a shutdown or a turnaround of a plant, we now have more know-how and more services to offer. We haven't had that in the past. We have it in other areas. So also that mechanical and electrical machinery, we have it in Scandinavia, for example. We're very successful of that. So we know the business. It's also one of our global product centers. We now have it in the next region. Perfect fit. And another thing, which is still worth to mention, when you look at E&M Europe, the headcount, on end of last year, we had about 24,000 own employees in Europe. And you see a big majority of that is in DACH, and then the other regions were smaller. Now with those 2,700 colleagues coming through the acquisition, I have a more balanced portfolio across Europe. And BeNe is a region where there's still a lot of investment ongoing. You have the harbors of Antwerp, you have the harbor of Rotterdam. It's a country, it's an industry that has been driving the sustainability and the energy transition since 3 or 4 years. So there's a lot of positive things going on in that region. Perfect. How does that lead to the financials? Now, Matti has explained the financial outlook, and I think you've seen the numbers. So within the segment E&M Europe, we are adding for this year another 300 to 400 million euro of revenue, quarter 2, 3, and 4. We are, it has an impact in this year on our EBITDA margin, but it's digestible, I would say. Stork is currently operating at a 2.5% EBITDA margin. They have done this last year, the year before. That has also been the budget for this year. But again, we know them. We even have known some of the people. So we had time to prepare, and we have a good plan to improve that as quickly as possible. And we see the first synergies already being realized. So that updated outlook for the segment of Europe, no changes in any of the other business in E&M Europe. We are adding Stork, including the one-off costs in this year and bad debt provision.
Badwill.
Badwill provision. My apologies. No, we end up between 5.7 and 6.1% in our outlook. Now, there is a plan, of course, to move and increase the profitability from 2.5% up to 7% and higher in the midterm. And you can see the effects, the positive impact, the synergies along our strategic levels. So efficiency. First of all, we're integrating the Stork business into our functional organization. Stork, the business that we have acquired, was a business unit of 530 million euro. So they had their own overhead, they had their own administration. We don't need that twice. And that creates a lot of savings, which you see here in that lever. In addition, we did see, and we do see, some dilutive contracts. And that's something we have kind of learned within Bilfinger in the last 16 months, on how to go to the client, on how to convince the client that they need our people and that we can add value, and we need more favorable terms. And that can be payment terms, that can be invoicing terms, that can be prices, you name it. And we are applying this now at the Stork portfolio, case by case. We're working through this, and that will have a significant impact, which you see in operational excellence, also on the margin. Plus, of course, we are working on the standardization, which makes things more efficient, and we have now double the size of procurement volume in Belgium and Netherlands. That creates synergies and opportunities to save on procurement costs. So all of that feeds into operational excellence cluster. And finally, the position, again, by combining those services, two meaningful solutions, we have a completely different level to talk to the client. And we are not providing 2 or 3 welders or 5 scaffolders. No, we are providing solutions. And that is just a driver for profit and for growth. And you can see the effect of that. Why am I personally convinced that we will manage this 7% midterm? Because we have demonstrated it also in BeNe for the last couple of years. So this is a margin level that is not unusual in that region. Why? It's attractive, and we have a good management team, and we already have a very good position. So that's why I'm convinced that will come. How are we doing that? That's our integration plan. Again, what you see here, we had already started, we had ample opportunities before the closing on the preparation. We done, of course, before the signing, we did a lot of due diligence. We know the company, we know the market, and so on. So we've made up our minds on what can we do on day one, and we had a plan on integration already at closing. We put a lot of effort on day one in terms of communications, so to convey the excitement that we have also to the Stork people. Day one, April the 1st, was effective, it was Easter Monday, but we had the first management calls with the Stork management to welcome them, to explain how we appreciate them being part of us and what are all those good ideas and great ideas that we will be working on. Then from April 2nd, we had town hall meetings in most of the sites where we are active, and it was always Stork management and Bilfinger management. We are doing this together. They are part of our team from day one on. And that got quite very good response, not even amongst the crews, amongst the teams, but also at the clients. So immediately clients started to talk to us and asked us, Bilfinger, how can we use that now? How can you help us become more efficient and more sustainable? So we have been working on the joint customer approach, prioritizing the clients which we talk to, having the first conversations, also providing the material when our salespeople go out there, when our managers go out there and talk to. That is done. From day one on, Stork was part of our functional organization. So we have prepared that at the beginning. We have slightly changed the reporting lines. They are part of our governance from day one, and they are part of our functional organization from day one on. So we have a joint management team now, and of course we further work on improving especially the operational organization, because this is that drives then also all of those synergies in operational excellence and in positioning. But from day one on, part of the functional organization. Big focus is now on rebranding. We have acquired brands like Stork, Eastmeber, Thermec, and so on, you name it. If we present ourselves and sell ourselves and go to the clients as one company, it will all become Bilfinger. So that's something we're working on that will be finished by end of the year. Plus integration of IT systems and processes. Also there, I think we have a very, I'm lacking the word, but we have a very good approach. Yeah? Of course, there are some processes and systems which are Bilfinger global systems, finance, HR, safety, CRM. We are bringing the Stork people and the Stork business onto our system. And there is no negotiations. Global systems are applied to the business that we have acquired. But keep in mind, Stork is a company who knows good stuff as well. And the business that we have acquired, they know how to do things. So we are now looking more at the operational systems and processes, and we compare them case by case. And some of them we find out that we can learn from the acquired business. Some of them we find out we are the ones who can do that better. So there's a learning also for us in that region and across the group. And in addition to that, of course, we make sure that the day-to-day business is not affected by that. So we don't want the staff on site being busy on integration. We're doing it in a phased way, in a meaningful way, and in a careful way. So we will not harm the day-to-day business, and that's working well. So first feedback after the first 2 months, it's now already, very good response from the client. So the assumptions that we had when looking still from outside inside on all the synergies, they have been confirmed. Also the one-off costs have been confirmed. Good feedback from the acquired teams. And lots of opportunity, and the first synergies are already realized. So we have work streams that are active and kicking, is all progressing. Now, of course, that creates a lot of work for the people, but why are we doing this? And I give you 2 examples that excite us. Us means the gem, hey, me, but also the teams and the clients. These are 2 examples where we are showing this, combining services and translating them into meaningful solutions that no one else can do in Belgium and Netherlands. I start with the first reference case, HiCC. HiCC is a Dutch company who is owning and operating plants that produce green hydrogen. And it's quite a new company on the market compared to the Shells, Bayers, Exxon Mobiles. So they have been looking for a partner who can manage and also execute the ongoing maintenance at their sites and also small modifications. And you see some of those things, maintenance execution, modifications engineering, modifications execution, we at Bilfinger have already been able to provide in the Netherlands. But some of those things that have been required, we were not able to provide. And this is where the acquired business of Stork comes in. So they have very good references and experience in asset management in the Netherlands and elsewhere. They know maintenance planning, and also they cover some of the locations which we don't with our people to do the execution of maintenance and the execution of modifications. That is something we could not have provided before the acquisition. And again, that's something which there are only very, very few companies that can do that. With that client, as a side note, that client has even waited to sign the framework contract until we have closed the acquisition, because they were also, they read that we did the signing, and they have really waited for us to close the acquisition before they signed the contract. And I think that tells us a lot on how we can add value. Another one, again, hydrogen. When you go from Rotterdam to Maasvlakte, which is one of those industrial areas, you drive until you see the sea. It's about 20 minutes or 25 minutes, you will find a big hydrogen plant being built. And that's the so-called Shell Holland Hydrogen 1 plant, which is generating 200 megawatts of green hydrogen, which is powered from the offshore wind. And that hydrogen is used to provide the Pernis refinery, also from Shell, with green hydrogen. If you go to that site, you will see people from Bilfinger, who are doing very, very vast things. We have already done the technical consultancy when the plant was being designed, so all the permitting services, that was done by Bilfinger. We have started to do the scaffolding and the insulation. That's also done by Bilfinger. Now, the mechanical works and the electrical works are also done now by Bilfinger. It was Stork previously. So when you go there, we have such a big role already that we play in that project, and it's one of the first in Europe to that size that is going to be built. So it's a great learning for us. It's a perfect reference. Yeah? And by the way, the reason why this is called Shell Holland Hydrogen 1 is because Shell wants to build a second one. So there are 4 plots on that side. The one is currently being built. The second one is in the line also for Shell to be constructed. And then you have 2 other ones, one for BP and one for Air Liquide, who have also kind of put their foot there because they want to build similar plants. Huge opportunity. And again, that's something you will not find a lot of companies who can do that. And that's something we now can do together with the acquisition. That's why we are really all excited about it. Good.
Very good. Thank you very much, Jürgen.